Guys, Meta just posted. Guys, this is unbelievable. Literally, they were up 7%, and then minutes later, down 9%. Now it's down 7.3, was down 6. This is crazy. Mo, tell us what you found in the third quarter report from the company.
Daily active users were 1.98 billion on average for September of 2022, an increase of 3% year over year.
Oh, wow. That's for Facebook.
Okay. Let's see here. Family daily active people, 2.93. That's like half the globe. Revenue came in 27.71 billion. That beat the 27.41 estimate. Earnings per share, however, missed 1.64 versus 1.89.
Yeah, so they've talked about investing in the Meta. Whether you believe it or not, it's going to be an expensive project. Facebook Meta is down a lot in the last year, 59%. It is down and down big. The all-time high of 353, the low of 123, and now a new low of 121.89. So guys, it's bad. The question you have to ask yourself, what do you view Meta as? Okay, so if you liked Meta at 350, all I ask you a question of is why would you not love it at 122? Because your job as an investor is to make reasonable assumptions about the future and decide if you're a buyer of the stock right now or not. It's down 67% from its all-time high. So, in disclosure, I'm a holder of Meta. Meta's down a lot in my portfolio. I'm looking at it, and these numbers are not great on the earnings, but I'm okay with that. My fee, I don't look at quarter-to-quarter numbers and decide I'm going to own a company or not based on that. I'm going to look at the quarter-to-quarter numbers and say, is it still within my thesis? Okay, so.
And something that I want to throw in, the active users on Facebook. People keep saying this is a dead platform. It's a boomer book and this and that. Maybe it doesn't have the growth that it had in the past.
That's exactly what it is.
But it's still growing.
Listen, people just look at not 20% growth and think dead. Don't forget another thing, guys.
Growing.
The world is still getting wealthier and wealthier, and they've done a good job of getting revenue per user in the US, but international is still working on that because, I mean, I hate to be rude, but not everybody has the money we have. Like, so is advertising really going to work effectively long term in other parts of the world? So let's see what analysts are saying on part of our software. So this dead company, they still expect 60% earnings per share growth in the next 5 years. Guys, Facebook is currently selling for enterprise value to free cash flow of 10. They need to start buying some shares back. They absolutely need to start buying some shares back. Did they announce it?
So they said that they repurchased 6.5 billion Class A shares, and as of September 30th, we had a $17.78 billion available and authorized for repurchases.
$17.78 billion is 5% of their market cap. They repurchase cheap shares. If you own the company, you're getting a bigger and bigger piece of the pie. So as this pie grows, you're still getting a bigger piece of it. So they buy back, hypothetically, let's say they do $16 per share based on today's share count. And they buy back 50% of their shares. Instead of getting $16 per share, it'll be $32 per share. And I'm probably getting notifications in our chat about Meta.
About Meta. And I like that they're doing share repurchases at these prices instead of going out and paying a dividend. Not that they ever have paid a dividend, but that's an option that they could do.
Yep. Very high return on investment. Let's look at the 8 pillars. All 8 check marks. High return on invested capital, revenue growth, net income growth. Let's see the revenue estimates for analysts. Look at this, guys. 50% increase in the next 5 years. 120 to 181. So they're still expected to do decent growth in the company on a revenue basis. All right. Now, Meta is going to be expensive. The metaverse is an expensive task. It's new. Could it work? I do think the world of virtual reality is going to become more and more apparent. Like you sit there and look at, playing the football games, playing baseball. Like, Mo, you do that with your Oculus.
Yeah, and I wanted to get the golf game and just to play something I'm actually really excited for is hopefully having meetings in that world.
Yeah.
Zoom is fine, but that would be kind of cool.
It would be cool. Like we sat here and stand here and it's really like we're sitting face to face. I think there will be a
pretty cool business aspect to it.
Absolutely.
And it's, guys, people talk about like how there's like pedophiles in there, and it's brand new. It's not going anywhere. It's true.
Well, there's pedophiles on the internet, and we still didn't. The internet didn't go to zero, right?
This is the main thing. That, every time I bring this up on the morning show, people bring up that issue, and I'm just like, guys, this is new. Of course, there's going to be issues.
Yeah, always going to be issues. And the other thing is, like, do I have a bias? Yeah, I own Meta stock. I have a bias.
Yeah.
But I do believe, like Monish Prabrai does, that Meta is a good investment long term. And I asked my 3 questions. First one, do I think Meta will be around in 10 years? Answer is yes. Second question, do I think they're going to have more or less profit 10 years from now? I think they're going to have more. Third question then, if I agree with those things, can I pay a reasonable price for the stock today that factors that all in there and gives me a good return on my money? And the answer I think is yes, but let's go to our stock analyzer tool and decide. Now remember guys, you need to do your own research. You're not here to mimic me. I've got 8 or 9 businesses upstairs. I've got lots of apartment units, hundreds of apartments. I generate cash flow in so many different ways. I'm 93% cash in my brokerage account. I have very little in my portfolio, and I own 11 stocks, and I only have 7% of my money invested in those 11 stocks. So you can imagine how much is Meta. Very little. Over time, I'll probably build that position, but it's still very little. You have to remember that going forward. Don't mimic me. Invest your money the way you see fit. But the best way to do it is dollar cost average into low cost ETFs that are long-term based. If you want to take a portion of your portfolio and buy 10 or 20 value stocks, just be ready for a lot of volatility. As Warren Buffett says, if you can't stand the sight of your stock going down over 50%, then you shouldn't own stocks, right?
Exactly right.
So let's do it. Oh man, I'm blowing up in the chat here. So I'm going to do this. Revenue growth numbers. I'm going to do 3, 6, and 9. Super low in the 3% range, but I'm okay with that. Profit margin. I'm going to do 26, 28, and 30. Lower than they've done in the last 10 years. Free cash flow margin. Same thing. PE. I'm going to go 12, 14, 16, 12, 14, 16. And return. I'm going to do 12, 13.5, and 15% return. Guys, I'm going to hit the analyze button. Now, let me explain these numbers real quick. 3%, 6%, 9% revenue growth over the next 10 years. We would all agree that 3% is very low.
Very low.
Profit margin, their lowest they've been was last year at 28%, and their 10-year average is 31.7. I went 26, 28, and 30. Same with free cash flow margin. I went 26, 28, and 30. Now, PE and price of free cash flow. They're currently at 10, at 10.4 and 9.8. I'm going 12, 14, 16. Historical average around 15 or 16 for both. Desired annual return. In a long-term ETF, I can get 9 or 10%. So I want margin of safety. I did 12, 13.5, and 15%. The larger my assumptions, the higher margin of error I want, the margin of safety I want. I hit the analyze button.
Let's see.
133 is the low, 223 is the high, 173 is the middle.
Yep.
So guys, if you believe all the assumptions above, do your research, join our community, everythingmoney.com. The chat's blowing up. I now have 11 messages, I think, about this stock. Okay, go learn about it. Go understand it. If you feel comfortable, buy it. But don't buy it just because somebody else said they're buying it. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.